Have you ever been in a conversation where something just felt off? The person in front of you is talking. Their story sounds smooth, their tone seems confident. But somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet alarm starts ringing. You can't prove anything. You don't have evidence. And you definitely can't pull out a lie detector in the middle of a normal conversation. So you sit there nodding while your intuition whispers, something isn't right. Here's the truth. You don't need a psychology degree to sense when someone is lying. And you don't need complicated interrogation tactics either. Most lies leak out within seconds, not through words, but through small cracks in behavior. The first place to look is the eyes. People say the eyes are the window to the soul. That might sound dramatic, but when someone lies, their nervous system reacts before their brain can fully control it. A simple thing like blinking becomes a signal. Normally, people blink at a steady, natural rhythm. But when someone lies, that rhythm often changes. Sometimes they blink rapidly, almost as if their body is under pressure. Other times, they barely blink at all. Their eyes freeze, like they're holding still long enough for their brain to build a story. The key isn't staring aggressively, it's observing quietly. Ask a question, let them answer, then watch for a few seconds. If their eyes suddenly shift, stiffen, or blink unnaturally compared to moments earlier, your radar should turn on. Not because blinking equals lying, but because sudden changes often reveal internal tension. And tension usually has a reason. Then there are micro-expressions. These are tiny flashes of emotion that appear for less than a second. So fast that most people miss them. But they're powerful. Someone might say, yeah, everything's fine, while for half a second, their eyebrows tighten or their mouth dips downward. That brief flash is the truth trying to surface before the mask comes back on. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to argue. Just repeat part of their story calmly. Oh, so you said it happened around 4 p.m.? Then watch. If there's a flicker of fear, hesitation, or confusion before they respond, that's information. Honest people usually recall. Liars usually calculate. And calculation takes effort, which leads to another quiet strategy. Let them tell the story twice. The first time, just listen. No interruptions. No pressure. Later, I'll casually bring it up again, but slightly change a detail, maybe the time, maybe the location. If they're telling the truth, they'll correct you immediately because they're remembering something real. But if they're lying, they may hesitate or even agree with the wrong detail because they're not recalling a memory. They're maintaining a script. And scripts are fragile. Another powerful test? Ask them to tell the story backward. Start from the end and work their way to the beginning. It sounds simple, but it's surprisingly difficult for someone who fabricated events. Real memories can be replayed in different directions, but invented stories are usually built in a straight line. When forced to reverse it, inconsistencies start to appear. They slow down, they stumble, they contradict themselves. Well, it's not because they're unintelligent, but because their brain is working overtime to keep the illusion intact. Then there's language. Pay attention to how someone denies something. An honest denial is usually simple. No, I didn't do that. Clear, direct, calm. But when someone over-explains, it's worth noticing. Honestly, I would never do something like that. I'm not that kind of person, I swear. Sometimes the more someone tries to convince you they're honest, the more they reveal that they're nervous about being believed. Liars also tend to add unnecessary detail. Not meaningful detail, decorative detail. They'll describe the weather, the color of someone's shoes, the background noise. It can sound impressive, but real memories are rarely cinematic. They're usually messy, incomplete, and imperfect. When a story feels overly polished, ask yourself why. Truth doesn't need special effects. Another subtle sign is repetition. Some people repeat your question before answering. Did I take your keys? Did I take your keys? That pause buys them time. Time to build, time to edit, time to protect themselves. Again, none of these signs alone prove someone is lying. That's important. Blinking faster doesn't equal guilt. Looking away doesn't equal deception. But clusters of behavior, sudden changes in rhythm, tone, and posture, those patterns matter because the body reacts to stress even when words don't. Watch the hands. People under pressure often touch their face, rub their neck, or adjust their hair repeatedly. Others do the opposite. They freeze, their body stiffens, their gestures disappear. Wound as if staying perfectly still will make them invisible. And eye contact? Contrary to popular belief, not all liars avoid eye contact. Some do. They look away frequently, but others overcompensate. They stare intensely, trying to prove sincerity. The key isn't whether they look at you. It's whether their behavior suddenly changes from their normal baseline. Because lies create tension, and tension shows up somewhere. Here's something even more important. The goal isn't to become paranoid. It's not about turning every conversation into an interrogation. It's about awareness. When you understand how people behave under pressure, you stop relying only on words. You start noticing patterns. You start trusting your instincts, but backing them with observation. And sometimes the most powerful move isn't catching the lie. It's staying calm. When someone realizes you're observant, they often reveal more than they intended, not because you attack them, but because silence and attention are uncomfortable for someone hiding something. At the end of the day, deception isn't just about others. It's about understanding human behavior. Why people feel the need to lie. Why fear changes the body. Why truth feels lighter than fiction. When you learn to read these signals, you don't just protect yourself. You become more emotionally intelligent, more aware, more grounded. And that awareness extends beyond spotting lies. It helps you navigate relationships, business conversations, friendships, because clarity is power. So the next time that quiet alarm goes off in your mind, don't ignore it. Pause, observe, look for patterns. Most lies don't collapse because of confrontation. They collapse because of attention. If this video helped you see conversations in a new way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're building a space here focused on sharper thinking, deeper awareness, and personal growth that actually changes how you move through the world. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.